Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing a final impressions video. And the house we are doing a final impressions video on today is Darren Alan perfumes. Marvellous. That's right, friends. Once again, I have returned to you, this time with my final impressions on the house of Darren Alan. So, after doing, we'll start at the beginning, shall we? I was apprehensive about trying these perfumes because they were being hyped up in indie circles, and indie perfume is not my thing. I think I've explained why I think indie perfume isn't great, and I've given my reasons, and they are my reasons. Whether you agree or not, that's up to you. But I've said that I don't think they're well made. I think they're over-reliant on good quality ingredients to cover up for the fact that a lot of indie perfumers don't blend very well. But there was a lot of people saying the same thing to me. You should try Darren Alan, and I was like, well, I will. And months ago, last year, I actually got in touch with Darren Alan. I only remembered this the other day. I think I got in touch with Darren Alan on Etsy. And I said, God, I hope it was Darren Alan. I got in touch with Darren Alan on Etsy. And I said, could I buy a sample set and could you send it to England? He was like, I don't send perfumes outside of the US because it's becoming increasingly hard. And it is. To get stuff shipped around the world. They're really tightening up on stuff like that. So, nightmare. Anyway, I thought that was it. And then the lovely Michael Harness said, I've got some and I'm going to send you a box with some samples and other lovely stuff in. And he did. And in said box with Darren Alan perfumes, along with Olympic orchids and a couple other things. So this series has been brought to you by Michael Harness. Thank you, Michael. You have followed my journey in the past few videos over these, and I am happy to report to you that these are not the usual indie fare. These are considerably better. These are very well made. They use good quality ingredients, and the ideas are sound. When I first smelled them in that first video, I thought I smelled whiffs of other perfumes that I'd smelled before. But then Darren Alan left a few comments on the channel and was like, I haven't smelled the perfumes you're talking about. So I was like, oh. And there are only a certain amount of chemicals in the palette that you can actually use. So it's kind of like music, You know that thing in music? Loads of people, like artists, have been suing other artists. I think there was one with Ed Sheeran. And Ed Sheeran made the point was, look, there's only so many notes. There's going to be overlap. So I'm kind of going on that principle, So it's not a clone brand, but I was kind of like, ooh, like these smell similar. Are these like an indie version of other famous perfumes? Anyway, I am happy to report that I have been impressed with the making, the technique, the technical aspect of said perfume. The quality of the blending, and there were a few, after trying them on skin, that kind of stood out to us, and I have them here. 3 that I actually really liked. So, will I spray them again? I don't need to, actually. I'll just talk about the ones. We'll talk about Aqua de Colonia first. Aqua de Colonia is lovely. Kind of in the same principle as what I mentioned before about there's only so many different ways you can do like a classic Italian citrus cologne. But that one's actually really nice. It gets a little bit white floral for us as it goes on. But it's beautiful. It's really like, it's done faithfully and properly. I would not mind smelling that on myself or someone else. Cupid's Bow. Cupid's Bow was a bit more of, in fact I will spray Cupid's Bow. Potent was Cupid's Bow on my skin. I was like, woof, you are a big unit. On paper, not quite as, I don't want to say aggressive, because it's not an aggressive perfume, like, but it's got not that Angel Delight, fucking Turkish Delight, Angel Delight. It's got Turkish Delight rose about it. And it's got Turkish Delight sweet about it. It very much reminded me of Noir de Noir, but the chocolate and the rose kind of swapped places. In Noir de Noir, it's much more earthy, like soft, if you can believe this from a Tom Ford. It was like a softer chocolate kind of thing. And the rose was kind of more sort of like muted, like more sort of like warm. This is more vibrant. This is more fresh. This is like you've opened like a fresh batch of like Turkish Delight with chocolate around it. It's got that little sort of grapey, little bit of like, oh, what's it called? You drink it. Champagne, God. Just a little bit, you know? So it's like champagne, roses and chocolate. That kind of thing. Would I want to smell like this? I'm not sure. I think Noir de Noir is a bit more wearable, simply because it's not quite as on the nose. It's not quite as real as this. This is very vivid. Now, you may think that's a good thing, you know? Maybe nothing more. And don't get us wrong, I enjoy eating. I mean, this literally smells like you could eat it. This is a gourmand. It's got that bit of vanilla, a little bit of powderiness as well, but like a chocolate powder dust sort of thing. Warm. It's nice. It's really nice. I really like it. But it's not something I'm going to wear. I felt that about a few of these. These are just my favourites. On skin, it's much more like the powderiness sort of comes out, that cocoa powder kind of thing comes out on me. But it's beautiful. Anywho, I will move now on to my favourite, and startling news, my friends. I really, 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 really liked Musk Mat. I said when I smelled this that it smelled like vintage Millésime Imperial, and it does on my skin and on paper. I really like this stuff, and I'm going to be honest, I think I might have to try and acquire a bottle. Obviously, Darren Alan doesn't ship overseas, so I will have to use contacts and connections and roundabout ways, but that is kind of what I do. I do that all the time with loads of different stuff. So that doesn't put us off at all. I really like this stuff. Sea, salt, fresh, juicy, suntans, beautiful people, summertime, fresh. The performance is really good on me. I put this on at like I put this on my arm at like 7 o'clock one night, and I could smell it when I woke up the next morning. Not massive, but it was still there. Ambergris. It's like green, but like fresh green. Not like tree or camphor or anything like that. Very coherent, a little bit sweet, but not sickly, saccharine sweet. Really well made, really beautiful. The more I'm smelling it, there's an absolute fucking storm raging outside, right? Like, I'm looking out and it's like the blasted heath out there. I'm expecting to see 3 fucking witches around a cauldron casting spells at some point, right? This smells like the Amalfi Coast, or in the summertime. It literally takes you away. Like a big hand comes out the sky, picks you up and plonks you down in another place and another time. It's amazing. Very kind of schizophrenic experience where this fragrance does not belong on the 31st of January in the middle of a raging storm outside. But what a fragrance. It is absolutely glorious. And I'm going to try and get a bottle of this, logistics permitting. So, a very successful first impression series with this sample set, friends. I would recommend you got a sample set and tried them for yourselves. And that's not always the case with an indie brand. He's not entirely self-taught. I believe he said that he's had some training in grass, which will always suit you well if you want to be a perfumer. And somewhere in America as well. My God. Had somebody like a mentor in America as well, like a professional perfumer or something. If you go back in the comments on one of the previous videos, he explains it. But that is that. That is it for my Darren Alan First Impression series, friends. It's been a successful one, as I intend to acquire a bottle. So yes, I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have learned something. Like I have learned something. I hope that you will join me next time. God knows what kind of sample set I'll be doing then, but it'll be another one. And I will see you all again soon. Bye.